right. Good morning, everyone, and happy Earth Day. Welcome to our special live dive broadcast today. We are so excited to be joining you all and excited to get this program started. First, I wanted to ask how you all are doing today. Let's do a show of thumbs. How is everyone feeling right now? Awesome. I am seeing lots of thumbs up coming in. I'll give you 2 thumbs up. I'm feeling good. And welcome to Point Lobos. My name is Isabella, and I work for California State Parks as an interpreter. So I have the really fun job of getting to teach students like you and share information all about our amazing California State Parks. So again, happy Earth Day and welcome to Point Lobos. This is a beautiful California State Park here in Carmel, California. And I want to start off by congratulating Zoe Soderberg. She is our 8th grade winner of our Earth Day logo contest. If you see at the bottom corner of your screen, her beautiful logo. And we congratulate Zoe for representing lots of diverse landscapes and wildlife in California. And thank you for everyone who participated in this contest and for sharing their beautiful logos with us. So for our program today, I'm actually joined by 2 scuba divers. So I want to pass it to Erica and Ashley. Divers, are you there right now?
Hello and happy Earth Day. We're so excited to be underwater with you today. I'm Erica. I'm a California State Parks interpreter, and I've got my friend Ashley here with me.
Hello, everybody. Happy Earth Day. So great to be able to welcome you underwater.
Yeah, we're excited to show you around, but let's get back to Isabella on the surface.
Awesome. Thank you, Erica and Ashley. And this week, we are going to be celebrating Earth Day all week long. And what better place to celebrate than this beautiful California State Park here in Point Lobos? Not only do we have the California State Park, but we also have a marine protected area here. We are next to Point Lobos State Marine Reserve. And this marine protected area is similar to an underwater park. It is a special place for wildlife to be protected, to thrive, and also to protect and conserve some important ocean habitats like our kelp forest. And I'm actually going to pass it back to Erica and Ashley because they are in the kelp forest right now. So let's check out what is going on in that habitat.
Yeah.
Bella, like you just mentioned, we are inside of a marine protected area here, inside a majestic kelp forest. And let's take a closer look at the kelp itself, because it provides a home for many different types of animals. And so, let's see here. We have a little baby kelp right here that is just starting to grow. And so, you get the camera on this little kelp right here. We have a little hold fast that is attached to the rock, allowing it to anchor in place. And in order to get all of the necessary sunlight that it needs, it has these little tiny floats that help bring it up towards the surface. And then coming off of those blades, or off of those floats, we have these blades right here. And all of those ridges help the kelp get all of the sunlight that it needs to grow. And we also have some new growth on this one right here. And so, as we continue into summertime, maybe this one will end up going all the way up to the surface and create the beautiful canopy of kelp that we see up here on the surface.
Now, these kelp forests are a really important habitat all along the California coast. A lot of animals live here, from the seafloor all the way up through the kelp canopy. So these kelp forests, they often act like nurseries for small animals and babies. They're a place for protection, and they're also a really great place to feed. So our California Marine Protected Areas, we've got 123 4 of them, like Isabella said, all along the coastline, and they protect things like these kelp forests and these rocky reefs that we're sitting in right now. So we're really excited to be sharing this with you all today. But I think we've got lots going on, and I want to check back with Isabella on the surface, how things are going up there.
Hey divers, I actually do need to interrupt right now because there's some breaking news happening in Point Lobos. I have just got word that the gray whales are missing. Gray whales are animals that we usually see around this time of year in Point Lobos. They will come swim really close to the shore and even swim through the kelp forest. But for the last few days, no one has seen these whales. Now, this is really shocking because Point Lobos does have a marine protected area, and this is a safe neighborhood usually. So we're pretty concerned there might be something fishy going on here. And today we're going to need your help to try to solve this ocean mystery and try to figure out where the gray whales are. Now we are in a webinar right now, but the Q&A is open. So as we're going through our program, please put in any questions you have or any observations or theories throughout our program. Now, gray whales do like to swim through the kelp forest. So I want to see if there's anyone down in the kelp forest that we could interview. Erica and Ashley, do you see any kelp forest residents that we could talk to right now?
Oh my gosh, that's shocking to hear that the gray whales are missing. We're going to do our best. So I was just having a quick look around, and here in the kelp forest, you can see there's a lot of places for people to hide. Or not people, I'm sorry, I guess I could hide in the kelp forest, but all the animals are very well camouflaged. But I do have someone right here in front of me. I found a bat star. Let's have a look at this bat star here. So, excuse me, Mr. Bat Star. We are wondering if you saw any gray whales. Hello? Mr. Bat Star? Oh boy, this is awkward. I don't know if Bat Stars can talk, so maybe he saw something. Hello? All right, so he probably didn't. Bat stars, they don't actually have eyes, so I don't think the bat star saw any of the whales. Maybe he smelled them with his 2 feet, but I'm gonna have to throw it back to you. You're hearing it hot and live from the kelp forest, Isabella. Thanks.
All right, awesome. Thank you for talking to that bat star. Too bad that we couldn't learn anything, but if you'll excuse me just for a moment, I'm actually getting a call on my cell phone. So just one moment. Okay, that's really interesting. Okay, thanks for the call. Were you all able to get that, or maybe we should play that again? Those are some interesting calls. Okay. I don't know if you all were able to hear that or understand it, but those are actually some calls and whistles from one of our top predators in the ocean. Does anyone have any guesses for what animal might live here in Point Lobos and make lots of calls and whistles? Okay, you might be thinking something along the lines of a whale or a dolphin. That was actually a call from one of the biggest dolphin here in the ocean, which is our orca. This animal is also known as a killer whale. And these orcas were calling me because they are actually also interested in finding where our gray whales are. But they're interested for a different reason. Does anyone have any guesses for why the orcas might have been interested in finding the gray whales? Now, you might know that orcas are top predators. They are the top predator of the entire ocean, and they are actually an animal that can hunt gray whales. So they are a predator of these animals. And the orcas we're calling because at this time of year, we do see a lot of mother and baby gray whales that are swimming by Point Lobos. And unfortunately, these mother and baby gray whales are really vulnerable. The moms lose a lot of weight while they're swimming, and the babies are small and not very strong yet. So these are prey for the orca. Now, as a top predator, orcas are really important for keeping the ocean healthy. They tend to eat animals that are sick or injured or have diseases. And in this way, they can actually stop other animals from being sick and help to balance out populations of animals. But unfortunately, for our orcas, I don't think we're going to need to let them know where the gray whales are. We'll keep that secret safe with us for this program. But let's ask Ashley and Erica if they've seen any orcas. Divers, are there any orcas down there right now?
Well, Isabella, we haven't seen any orcas down here, but we did find this little critter hidden in the sand down here. Let's take a closer look. Hey, little amphipod, have you seen any gray whales?
Not today, but I did last week. If they were here right now, I'd be hiding deep under the sand.
Wow, so as an amphipod, as a main food source for these gray whales, it's probably pretty scary if you ever come across a gray whale, is that right?
Oh my, I was terrified. They scooped up my friend Joe and swallowed him and all of our friends. I've been alone for days now.
But wait, gray whales are so large, and you're so tiny. How do whales even eat amphipods?
They use their big, scary, hairy baleen to scoop us off the sea floor in the thousands and sift us out of the sand.
Wow, thanks for sharing. You're such a harrowing tale. If you spot any gray whales, will you let us know?
No way! If I see them around, I'm hiding.
Let's head back to the surface.
All right. Thank you, Ashley, and thank you, Amphipod, for sharing your harrowing tale. I hope all those amphipods stay safe out there. And I actually do have an example here of some gray whale baleen. Oh, hi. Oh, Captain Bruno?
What are you guys doing over here?
You know what? We are actually looking for some gray whales at the moment. Do you know anything about that?
Love gray whales. They're always out in the cove here.
Okay.
When the 1800s, we used to catch them, and we used to bring them in here right into this parking lot, and we would produce them into oil. And the oil was spectacular. It would light the whole house. You could cook with it. You could even make soap with it.
Wow. I mean, that does sound useful.
Yes.
But when was the last time you hunted for whales?
Ooh. It was March 3rd, 1800. Maybe 1900. Hard to say. It definitely not after the Marine Mammal Protection Act was put in 1978. That's for sure. But I think 1900.
Okay.
It's been many years.
I'm glad that you're a law-abiding citizen.
Of course.
But I need to ask, what have you been doing for the last 125 years then?
Well, a bit of a pet project. I've been trying to recreate Point Lobos in Minecraft, and it's been going pretty good, I think. But other than that, I did a little bit of growing kale, tried some native plants. You know, we've been just trying to revitalize Point Lobos here since we're not doing any more whaling.
Yeah, that actually sounds really nice.
Yeah, I love kale, just not very good at growing it.
I hope that you get there. And, you know, since whaling has stopped and the Marine Mammal Protection Act was established, our whale populations have grown. We are seeing a lot more whales because they are protected now. But I was going to ask, do you have any tips for spotting whales from your whaling days?
Get a boat.
Okay.
The boat is the key. You paddle it around, you look off the front. It's great. And when you see one, you take your red neckerchief and you hold it up so all the other whalers know that you got a whale. And do you know what you say?
No.
You don't know what you say? You say, Balea.
Wow. Okay. I guess we don't talk about Bruno anymore, but that was a really special moment and some important information learned during that. So thank you, Captain Bruno, for that special tale. Now, I did want to say that we do have an example of some gray whale baleen. If we remember what our amphipod was mentioning, this is some gray whale baleen that we have a sample of here. And let's just take a moment. Let me back up here a little bit. What are you noticing about this baleen? What can you see? What can you notice as we look at it? All right. You might notice that it's kind of a light color. And you might notice all of these hairy bits, just like our amphipod was mentioning. This is made out of keratin, actually. This is the same material that your fingertips and even your hair is made out of. And this attaches to the gray whale's mouth. It actually hangs down in their mouth like this. And as they are swimming along the seafloor, they're scooping up little amphipods and other animals in the mud. And their kind of thick and hairy baleen can capture all of the small amphipods and other animals. So this is a really cool adaptation that these gray whales have, as well as blue whales, humpback whales, and other types of whales. All right, so let's review so far what we've learned. We have talked to our bat star, our sea star in the kelp forest, and that bat star did not really seem to know anything or even say anything. We have talked to some hungry orcas that were looking for dinner. They haven't seen the gray whales either. We also talked to our relieved amphipod who had not been eaten by a gray whale. And even Captain Bruno, our washed up whaler here in Point Lobos, who has not whaled in many years, but also hasn't seen any gray whales recently. But you know what? I am actually getting a call from one of my friends. She's an interpreter who works for California State Parks up in Mendocino. And she, I think, has some information about some of our gray whales. So let's see if we can get Kenzie up on the screen here.
Hi, I'm Kenzie. I'm an interpreter with California State Parks up here in Mendocino in Northern California. And I heard you were looking for gray whales. I wonder if we can find any here. Let's go see. Come on. Yes, Owen. Here, you try. Did you see it? That was amazing. When we watch gray whales this time of year, they are heading to the north. That's because this is part of their northern migration. Every year, gray whales travel 12,000 miles from the icy cold waters of the Arctic where they feed, down to the warm lagoons of Baja where they give birth to their babies, and then back to the north again. Gray whales have one of the longest migrations of any mammal, and we are so lucky that we are able to witness part of that journey here in California.
All right. Wow. Thank you, Kenzie, for filling us in on where the gray whales are. So it seems like they are way up north in Mendocino and continuing on their long migration. As Kenzie was saying, gray whales have one of the longest migrations of any mammal on Earth, traveling up to 12,000 miles, all the way from Canada down to Mexico, and then all the way back up again. So it seems like we have just missed out on some of the gray whale migration here, and those whales are still traveling north, going back up to their feeding grounds. So thank you all for helping us solve this ocean mystery this morning. We appreciate all of your observations and theories as we were solving this mystery. And we appreciate Erica and Ashley for also helping to interview some of the residents of the kelp forest. I actually want to pass it back down to Erica and Ashley to explore the kelp forest some more. So let's check out what's going on down there. Divers, how's the kelp
back
forest
to our
looking?
regularly scheduled birthday programming now. I'm so glad we solved the mystery and we know that the gray whales are safe. They're just moving on north on their migration. So let's talk a little bit about the kelp forest. We're going to have a look around. Ashley and I are getting thrown around quite a bit in the swell here. I just wanted to give you some views. So if we look up at the surface, you can see that kelp canopy up above, and you'll see that the kelp is swaying in the ocean swell as it's coming through here. Now, these nematocysts, or these little balls here on the kelp blades that help it float, those are what's creating that kelp canopy and lifting it up to the surface where it can photosynthesize. So down here, though, on the floor of the kelp forest, you're going to see a habitat that we call a rocky reef. So we don't have a lot in the way of corals here because the water is quite cold, but we've got a lot of cool things growing on this rocky reef. You'll notice these pink patches, and there's both pink that is covering these rocks as well as these little branch pinkments. This is called coralline algae, and that is something that indicates to all the species down here that this is a good place to settle in. You can see all these different algae species, but check this out here. Out of this crevice, we've got a small rose anemone. Looking very beautiful. Let me adjust my light and see if I can get a dim light on it. Ooh, check that out. So that anemone is related to corals. You can see there in the center of its body is its mouth. And it's got those beautiful tentacles reaching out in all directions, capturing nutrients out of the water. And it looks like it's got something in its tentacles at the bottom there. So those tentacles will move food to the center of the anemone's body there for its oral disc, and they'll shove the food in there. We've got quite a few of those black stars. Oh, wow, look at this. This is cool. So this is an unusual piece, and you might not be able to see the reflection on that, but this is a small piece of a very large abalone shell. Oh, there, Ashley's got a smaller one. Perfect. So, Ashley, do you want to talk a little bit about the abalone?
Yeah, sure. So these are an abalone shell, and there was one period of time when the Japanese would harvest these abalone shells and actually dry them out on wooden tables along the edge of Whalers Cove at what's called Coal Street Point. And it was actually one of the first modes of diving because they would run a hose line from a boat down into the water so that they would be able to find these shells. And today, these abalone are protected because unfortunately they have been overfished. But thanks to marine protected areas like we have here at Point Lobos, I'm down here in the kelp forest.
Yeah, you can see in this rocky reef in the kelp forest, there's so much life. And again, these are just great habitats and really critical to a lot of the undersea life here in coastal California. Just as we were getting in the water earlier, we had a harbor seal that was coming up and saying hello to us. So I've been looking out, watching for that harbor seal, seeing if we can spot it again. Those harbor seals are a marine mammal. They live here at Point Lobos, and we're always on the lookout for them in our different programs because they can be very curious and they'll come up and surprise us sometimes. They are in the middle of their breeding and pupping season, so the mothers are giving birth to their pups and they're hanging out here at Whalers Cove. So if one of those shows up, we'll definitely keep our eyes out. All right, how are we doing on time, Isabella? Do we have any questions we can answer from the students watching at home?
We are doing great on time. We're going to queue up some questions, and if you want to take us on a few more minutes of kelp forest exploration, that would be awesome.
My pleasure. I'm going to put the camera around and we're going to swim a little bit further. So here's a really big stand of kelp here to my left. You can see it's got a very large holdfast. I'm going to go down here and check it out. So it's holding on nice and tight. There it is. So you can really see the structure of a kelp holdfast. And even though these look like roots, these are not roots. They're just a part of the algae that holds it nice and snug onto the rock. And you can see from there, all of the kelp grows up in these large columns. Now, being down here on the sea floor and looking up to this, it very much feels like you're walking in a forest, and that's why we call it a kelp forest. Could I ask the crew on the surface if you can let some more of the blue line out so that I can move a little bit further? We've got up ahead of us.
We got it, thanks.
Sea palm.
Hey divers, I do have a question for you.
Okay,
How deep
cool.
are you
What
right now?
are the questions we've got?
How deep are you right now?
Let's have a look at our gauges
Yeah,
here.
I got this one. So along those lines, let's talk a little bit about some of the gear that we have. So the way that we're able to talk and breathe at the same time while being underwater is this full face mask. And then we have lines coming off of us that allow us to get video and sound to all of you wherever you are tuning in from. And then we can tell how deep we are with this right here. So we are about 14 feet deep right now. And the water is a warm 51 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's quite the hot tub down here today, right, Erica?
It's so cold. I don't think it's a hot tub at all. A lot of people ask us about these masks also. We get questions from students if we're actually talking to you and if this is for real, and it is. This is a specialized scuba diving mask called a full face mask. And here in this center portion, I not only have my air to breathe, I also have my microphone. And here on the sides of my head, we have headphones so we can talk to our friends and our safety crew up on the surface. Pretty cool. Any other questions, Isabella?
Awesome. Thank you for the great explanation. We have another question about what does it take to become a scuba diver? How do you do that?
Yeah, well, I believe the question was, what does it take to be a scuba diver? And it takes quite a bit of training. We spend time in the classroom, also in a pool, so we can test out all of our gear, make sure everything's working properly, and lots of training. And so as theme park divers, we try to get in the water at least once a month or so that we can make sure all of our skills are staying intact.
Yeah, and every different level of certification for scuba divers, you can just keep training and training to the point where you can become an instructor, you can instruct instructors. There's lots of different types of diving you can do, whether it's just for fun and recreation, like here in this Point Lobos State Marine Reserve, or you can do it for work. So Ashley and I are part of the State Parks Dive team. We have lots of colleagues who are also here with us. We've got two of them actually back there in the kelp forest who are helping take care of our communications lines. And there's lots of people who also work as commercial divers, not for state parks, but in other instances. So if you're curious about exploring the underwater world, there's definitely a career in diving out there for you.
Very cool. Thank you, Erica and Ashley. Another question is, how long can you stay underwater?
How long can we stay underwater? Well, that depends on how much air we've got left. Let's see, I'm just going to look at Ashley. So she's got about 1,100 PSI right now. So we're always looking at how much air we have. The deeper you go, the shorter you can stay underwater. We're at a very shallow depth right now because we're checking out the kelp forest. But generally, our dives are about 45 minutes long. And that's why this program's only 45 minutes.
Awesome. All right, another question is, we heard about orcas being predators, but are there other predators down in the kelp forest?
Are there other what down in the kelp forest?
Other predators in the kelp forest.
So another larger animal that lives in the kelp forest is a leopard shark. But when we think about sharks, maybe you're a little bit nervous or maybe even a little bit scared of them. But really, when we see sharks out in the ocean, it's a sign that the ocean is doing well. And then when we think about us humans, we can cause harm to the kelp forest. And so, since it's Earth Day, we want to be thinking about what we can do to help protect our ocean and our planet as a whole. And so, I like to tell folks to share what you learned with your friends and your families. Write letters to local community members. Share this knowledge so that we can all work together to protect this beautiful kelp forest.
Very cool. Thank you, Ashley, and totally agree. It is so important to use our voice to protect the kelp forests and all the amazing ocean animals that are in Point Lobos and all around our global ocean. Erica, I wanted to ask if you have any tips for how we can protect the Earth this Earth Day and every day of the year.
Absolutely, Earth Day is every day. Absolutely for me in my life and everything I do. And one of my favorite things to share with all my friends is really helping reduce the amount of plastic pollution that ends up in our beautiful global ocean. And my favorite trick is doing something that I say, take 3 for the sea. Take 3 for the sea. And what does that mean? That means that every day, whether you are on the beach or you're walking to school and you're living in the middle of the desert, maybe you're far from the ocean, or maybe you live next to a lake inland, you pick up 3 pieces of trash for the sea or the ocean. If every single one of us picked up 3 pieces of litter a day, we can make a really big impact. And it's just through those very small actions that we all take that can really just change our future for the better and really take care of not only our ocean, but also beautiful planet Earth.
Awesome. Thank you. That is so important to pick up after ourselves and make sure that we are leaving our parks and our ocean and all of our waterways better and cleaner places than when we found them. And the best part about all of these actions, whether they're using our voice or cleaning up plastic pollution, is that our actions are contagious. We do have a lot of daunting problems and really big problems in our world right now and affecting our environment. But it is so important to remember that even the small things that we do, whether that's riding a bike to school, using a reusable water bottle or a plastic bag, or even just turning lights off when you're leaving a room, all of those actions are contagious. They will rub off on people. And when you're setting a good example, that makes other people want to do the same thing. So even though we can just do small actions throughout our day, sometimes these actions can have a really big impact. So that is something that is important to keep in mind for this Earth Day. And I would love for you all to take a moment. You can type into our Q&A if you have access, or just turn to a partner and share, what do you think you can do this Earth Day to protect our Earth? How can you protect our Earth today and also every day of the year? Take a moment to either turn to a partner or type that into our Q&A. Awesome. I am seeing a lot of amazing comments in our chat of all the actions that you are going to take this Earth Day. And we are so thankful that you all were able to join us today at Point Lobos. Thank you for participating in our program, for helping us solve our ocean mystery of the missing gray whales, and for your great questions along the way. We hope that you learned about this beautiful California State Park and some of the ways that we can protect our planet every day. Should we say goodbye to the divers? Okay. Well, we want to thank you all so much for coming. Happy Earth Day, and we will see you all next time. Thank you so much for coming. Bye, divers. Happy Earth Day. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.